Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to another live stream. Back to another live stream. Back
100 times?
to another live stream.
200 times?
Back,
500 times?
Probably. Who is Jose Arteaga?
Jose Arteaga is a YouTube content creator with several channels focusing on different themes.
I can't do it. We'll do it live. We'll do it live! Thing sucks!
His main channels include travel vlogs and lifestyle content. On his travel channel, Jose Arteaga Travels.
You ain't got the answers, man. You ain't got the answers.
Additionally, he runs a cooking channel and engages in other personal projects that highlight his diverse interests and expertise. Projects and expertise. Projects and expertise. Projects, project, 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 project, expertise.
Dead I am the one exterminating sun, sipping through the tree, strangling the breeze. Dead I am the sky, watching angel cry while they slowly turn, conquering the world. Dig through the ditches and burn through the witches and slam in the back of my Dracula. Dig through the ditches and burn through the witches and slam in the back of my Dracula. As you purr, dig through the ditches and burn through the witches and slam in the back of my Dracula. Dig through the ditches and burn through the witches and slam in the back of my Dracula. Do it, baby, do it, baby. Do it, baby, do it, baby. To the skid, knuckle crack the bone, 21 to win. Dead I am the dog pound of hell, you cry, devil on your back, I can never die. Dig through the ditches and burn through the witches and slam in the back of my Dracula. Dig through the ditches and burn through the witches and slam in the back of my Dracula. Oh, do it, baby, do it, baby, yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, do it, baby, do it, baby, yeah. Burn like an animal. ditches and burn through the witches and slam in the back of my Dracula. Dig through the ditches and burn through the witches and slam in the back of my Dracula. Dig through the ditches and burn through the witches and slam in the back of my Dracula.
Hey, guys, how's it going? And welcome back to a super Halloweenie special episode. Hope you guys are ready to have some fun today. As you guys can see, I already got my libations going. I got my glass of ginger ale, right? That's what we're doing. We're just consuming ginger ale. That's all it is. Ah, some bite. A little ginger ale with some bite. But anyways, welcome back, guys. Hope you guys are ready to have some fun. Hope you guys are ready to enjoy the evening or the afternoon or whatever it is over there. Welcome back to another show. So again, today we really don't got much no topic per se to talk about. It's just Halloween, so we're going to be talking about, spooky stuff. We'll figure it out as we go along. I actually have no plan for today except to just have some fun with you guys, a little libation here and there, and so on and so forth. Again, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. People like to drink their ginger ales all across the nation, all across the world. Hopefully you guys are as well. And so, again, it's still pretty early out here. It's almost 2 o'clock p.m. Not quite 5 o'clock yet, but still, we are in the holiday spirit. So, welcome back to another show. So, all right, let me get my gum out of my mouth. That. Anyways, and let's get on with it. So, hopefully you guys are celebrating Halloween. If you're not, it is what it is. I totally understand it. We like to celebrate Halloween here. Over again, if you want to know more context as to why we love to celebrate Halloween here, and you guys can check out the previous live stream that I did on the other channel, talking a little bit more in depth as to Halloween. Why I love it. Ever since I've been out here in Mexico, and why I celebrate it all the time. Me, Lambo, Christian, the dog, everybody. We all get dressed up. We all have fun. We all enjoy it. And again, I was doing a live stream on the other channel, where I talk about life in Mexico, living in Mexico, how we celebrate it out here. And you guys were telling me how you guys are celebrating it in the USA these days, and man, that was depressing me very quickly, which is why I had to grab my ginger ale. Because it was just so depressing how things are celebrated in the USA these days. It's I don't even know what to say. It says we got the Manic Hispanic says, just to set things straight, Jose, Halloween is the same as it was when you were a kid back in the 60s, except that things like trunk and trunk or treat have been added. Kids still go out to houses for candy and things like that. Okay, well, that's good. I appreciate you telling me that because, like I said, I was already on my second 2 liter of ginger ale. Just learning that, kids don't even celebrate Halloween these days just because of, well, you live there. I don't got to say anything. You guys can figure it out yourself. It said, Manic Hispanic says, we made over 200 bags of candy and sports cards to pass out. Oh, that's awesome. Many neighbors here are passing out full-size candy bars. Oh, that's amazing. That's good to hear. Trunk or treat is an extra thing for kids to go in on other days besides Halloween. Okay. All right. So I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that that trunk or treat is just like an extra thing, an added thing, something that spilled over from the COVID days and it's still here. And I get it. It makes sense. Why not keep something from the COVID days? I mean, it is Halloween. It is spooky and scary, and it couldn't have been more spooky and scary than during those years of the whole COVID pandemic situation. And that was pretty terrible. So yeah, I mean, any chance to reminisce of those spooky, horrible times? I guess why not? And I guess it makes more sense, to do it during Halloween. right? To scare people into, again, when people say, it's like, oh, what do we do trunk or treat? And then you can tell the kids, it's like, well, back in my day, we had this thing called the pandemic, and we all had to, stay indoors and yada, 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 and whatever. So, all right, makes some more sense that way. We got Big Al saying to add, I've only seen trunk or treat on military bases overseas. Everywhere else is still traditional trick or treating. All right, that's good to hear. All right, so I don't know what happened the last live stream where, I went off because I made it seem, I guess the audience made it seem where maybe I just, took it and ran with it. And I just thought that that's the only way that you guys celebrate Halloween these days over there. I just realized, my glasses are very, very mirror like, and I can see myself. So it's kind of like, oh, it's pretty cool. Look at that. You get to see me, see you, see me, see you, seeing each other. All right. So, can anyone guess what I'm dressed up as? I know a lot of you guys, know if you guys were watching my last live stream, I let you guys know. Even though I told you guys 100 times, you still couldn't figure it out. So maybe you guys can figure it out this time around. I'll let you guys give you guys a few minutes to chime in with your answers there. Um, Bill Raider says, "Hey Jose, gotta say you're growing on me." Well, hopefully I'm not growing on you like some malignant tumor or whatever, or some cancer or what have you. So, hopefully it's a good growth, hopefully it's not a bad growth, because usually, when something's growing on you, you got to take it to the doctor and have it removed. So, so hopefully it's not a bad growth. All right. Someone's cheering somewhere. Oh, awesome. Oh, yes, that's right. That's right. So again, salud, or bon appetit, or what is it like? What's it? What props, or what is? I forgot what you guys say. Cheers. That's right. Cheers. And this ginger ale is pretty strong. Anyway, so cheers. Mm. And happy Halloweenie roast to everyone out there. So today we're gonna just talk about Halloween, past Halloween, how we used to celebrate it, what we did, stories, whatever. I'll figure it out as we go along. So nobody figure out what I'm dressed up as yet. I am anonymous. All right. I'm Agent 67 Anonymous. I just got hired yesterday. This is the only uniform that they had left in my size. So this is why I gotta wear this. All right. But I am now anonymous. I used to work for Antifa, got fired. I worked for Q, got fired. And then Anonymous said, "Hey, you want a job?" And here I am. So, shout out to Anonymous out there. Are they even still a thing? Are they even still around? I don't even know. I haven't heard of Anonymous in so long. It's been a long time. But anyways, guys, so hopefully you guys liked the song that I played at the beginning of the show. That's Dragula, from Rob Zombie. Shout out to him. But that is an AI cover of Dragula. There's a bunch of AI covers out there of songs that are just awesome, that are just amazing. Again, last week I did Marilyn Manson, "The Beautiful People," again, and soul AI cover, which is great. I love that. A lot of people are very scared, of AI. I am not. I mean, not that scared, at least not as scared as most people out there. I'm more of intrigued by the new technology. And again, the new technology is very beneficial in many ways, and in other ways not so much. I guess it just all depends on who you are out there. All right. But long story short, yeah, the AI, there's a lot of people out there that are using AI in order to create new versions or covers of existing songs out there. So yeah, last week I did a soul cover of "The Beautiful People," which is amazing. And then I think a soul cover, or again another a cover of the Cranberries' "Zombie," and that was also amazing. Again, almost more powerful than the original song. If you guys don't know the original song, it's a great song. Shout out to the Cranberries out there. But yeah, am I in? Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm okay. Anonymous 67. That's right. DB Goodman says, "Am I dressed up as David Tell running a marathon?" That's a good one. Someone even said I was dressed up like Kanye. 100%. So yeah. Kanye. The Kanye. Wait, hold on a second. Uh, there's some people are saying I was dressed like Kanye. So let's bring out Kanye real quick.
Yeah. I've got the perfect answer for the ADL. They are going to have to listen up. What we did is we brought Netanyahu with us.
I mean, I'm in the twilight zone right now.
Netanyahu, what do you have to say? What do you have to say to Alex Jones right now, Nick Fuentes and Ye? It was bad. It was bad for Trump to meet with Nick and Ye. Okay. I had no idea your voice is going to sound like that, Netanyahu.
Oh wait, that is hilarious. If you haven't seen it yet, that interview is old as hell, but that was one of my favorite interviews, man, because like, Alex Jones, anyone knows Alex Jones out there, that guy cannot shut up like me. He just goes on and on and on. And that was one of the few times where Alex Jones was just in shock, for so long that he was basically speechless. And in order to leave Alex Jones speechless, man, it must be, you gotta take it to the next level. So anyway, shout out to Kanye out there and Netanyahu and all that good stuff. But anyway, so yeah, we'll talk about Halloween, I guess. We'll talk about some spooky stories. I can't really think of any except I remember when I was a kid, doing the Halloween stuff. When you're a kid, you're just out there getting the candy, doing all that good stuff. But it's not really until you're a teenager, right? Once you're a teenager, all right, and you go out and about, with your friends, and you start doing. I don't know. By the way, do they still have Devil's Night? You guys remember that? So back when I was growing up, we used to have this thing called Devil's Night, and Devil's Night was basically, I think it was the day before Halloween, so it would be like tonight. And so basically what would happen is that, me and my friends, back in high school, whatever, early days of high school, but, high school. And we would basically, go out on Devil's Night and, we would toilet paper houses, toilet paper trees, people that had like big trees in their houses. If we knew, if we had someone in the neighborhood or someone that we didn't like, or someone that was, a jerk, whatever, those people in the neighborhood, we used to, get rotten eggs, that we would leave sitting for like a week or something, out in the hot sun, get those rotten eggs, throw them at the house. You guys remember the poop in the bag and light it on fire? We used to do all that shit. So, this is back in the 90s, I would say, early 90s. What do they call it? Michael night? Oh, mischief night. Mischief nights. Yeah, sorry, I can't really see very well with these glasses. Mischief night. Yeah, correct. So, but the mischief night, I think we called it Devil's Night. And it was funny because I remember, again, just because it was called Devil's Night, Dia del Diablo, whatever, even though in fact, I don't know if our parents knew what we were doing now, but our parents never wanted us to go out on that night. It's like, oh, the devil is loose. The devil is out that night. Don't be going out that day, on the day before Halloween, because that bad things could happen to you. And to me, it was always laughing because it's like, no, 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 mom and dad, no, we're the bad things. We're the ones that are doing the bad things out there. Don't worry, we're fine. That kind of stuff. So, All Hallows Eve, yeah, that's correct. Yeah, that was another name for it. But anyways, but yeah, I remember those nights. It was a lot of fun. You know, Again, I don't know if you guys ever listened to, what was it? I think it was The Offspring or something. But there was something in one of their songs, a lyric in one of their songs that basically said, "Hey, you're not 18 yet, so break all the laws, that you can." And so back in the day, I think times were a lot simpler than they are today. And I remember very well that basically all the way up until you were 18, you get to do whatever you want. Obviously, there were consequences depending on the situation, but for the most part, since anything that you did illegally under the age of 18, good to go. Nothing to worry about. So, obviously, once we turned 18 and above, we weren't egging houses or toilet papering anybody or doing any of those things because, well, now they were illegal and now we could get arrested and go to jail. But back in the day, whenever you did anything like that, the worst that can happen, let's say you did get caught, you know what I mean? And it was really, really bad. I mean, you're going to spend a few days in juvie or something like that. Remember juvenile detention? You remember that crap? And by the way, I never, ever, ever, even though I did a lot of bad things as a kid, always hanging out with the bad crowd, growing up in the hood. But yeah, long story short, I never got caught up in juvenile detention or any of those things. Now, my friends, yeah, a lot of them, were always getting caught up in all that crap. But I never did. I think it was because back when I was a kid, I mean, imagine me now. I mean, like I look like a nerd, with the glasses. I look like a, it depends on who looks at me. Sometimes even people say I look like a narc. Imagine me when I was younger. When I was younger, I looked even more like a nerd. I even looked more like a narc. I looked more, just like a good kid. And it was awesome because when I was hanging out with my friends that were the bad kids, I was always the worst one. I was always the one with, doing with the worst ideas, doing the worst things. I was the one that had the car, I had a van, all right? And I mean, forget about it. You know what I mean? I was troublemaker, all day, every day. And so it was always interesting to just see it play out because a lot of times when we would get in trouble just because I was around we would get like a free pass. So for example, let's say my friends will go out and do bad stuff, you know what I mean, again, toilet paper a house or other things, maybe not even a Halloween but just stuff. And anytime that they would get caught or they would get in trouble, or again, they would have a higher chance or likeliness of getting caught many times. And the reason that first of all I would hang out with them is because I was literally the worst one of them all. But on top of that, every time that we would get caught, because we got caught, you know what I mean, many times we're young and dumb, all right. And then many times when we would get caught doing whatever, drinking, under the age of 18. Again, like I said, toilet papering a house, pranking, neighbors, whatever horrible things we were doing. I'm trying not to incriminate myself here, even though it's, way past the statute of limitations. But anyways, what I was going to say was that like every time that we would get caught and I was with them, we always get a free pass. Always get a free pass because let's say, some neighbors caught us, some regular citizens caught us. They would see me and then they would just basically start giving me a talking to. It's like, why are you hanging out with these bad kids? Da, 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 da. I know you're a good kid. You seem like a good kid. You're a very intelligent kid. Da, da, da. And they just give me like the whole spiel and then basically just let us go and then just basically tell the other kids, hey, you're lucky you're with this kid. You're lucky you're with this guy. Ba, 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 da, beep, 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 ba, da. And obviously they were always laughing because I was the worst one of them all. But again, even when we would get caught by the cops, first of all, the cops were very different 30 years ago, and especially in Miami. Miami is just Latino cops, and some of those cops, they were doing the things that we were doing just a few years prior. I mean, so it was just a different world out there. But yeah, even when we would get caught with the cops, most of the time, it was like the cops, at least they were a little bit more understanding of the situation or whatever the hell we were doing. But it was more like, they would give me a talking to. They would give us all a talking to, but backwards. It was more like, hey guys, you're lucky your friend Jose is here. Otherwise, you guys would have all been arrested, or all you guys would have been in trouble. And Para, you got to be more like him. You got to follow more of his example. And then they would tell me, he's like, why are you hanging out with these kids? What are, at the end, it was a whole thing, but it was just always so funny. How adults, would treat us, talk to us, the whole thing, and never knowing that I was the mastermind, behind a lot of the horrible things that we would do, because a lot of my, friends, I mean, they barely graduated, middle school, let alone high school. I mean, I'll leave it there. And I was on the other, on the other end of the spectrum. I was basically in the, not the honor roll. Shit, I graduated in the, what is it, like in the top 5% or 3% of my school or something like that. Not valedictorian, but hey, I was up there. And it was just always very interesting to me, just seeing it all kind of play out. And from a very young age, I was already like seeing how people would treat you, just based on how you looked, how you presented yourself, how you acted, how you whatever, and it really didn't matter, how you actually acted or how you actually were. A lot of things were basically, what is it, like you were proven guilty or proven innocent before, before you could even open your mouth, just by the way that you looked and how you presented yourself and stuff like that. But anyways, interesting stuff. I mean, I remember, how about this? When I was young, and we would say, "Hey, let's go on a beer run," because again, as an adult, you know what that means. Hey, we're gonna go on a beer run. That means, all right, we're gonna go to the store and buy some beer, right? Simple enough, right? But when I was growing up, when we would say, again, remember, drinking age is 21, right? So, and we were doing this under 18. Okay, so remember, think about it. So 17 years old, and we're like, all right, we're 15 or 16 years old, like, all right, we're gonna go on a beer run. So what we would do is that we would, basically, a friend of mine, that had a go-kart. Okay, man, this is way back in the day, and this guy had like a go-kart that was really, really fast. All right, like fast. And I remember we would literally go to the gas station, in the neighborhood. I mean, the people freaking knew who we were, man. It was just such innocent times back then. Because today we would have been caught, arrested, the whole thing, right? But even though they knew us, they still would fall for it regularly. But anyways, so what we would do is, like, we would just go to the gas station, and so basically it was like three of us, and we would jump on, on the go kart, the big go karts. You remember? I don't know if you guys remember those big ass go karts from back in the day. Anyways, and so my friend, would be the one driving. He would be the getaway driver, and then it was two of us, and maybe one of us, but usually two of us for it to really go smoothly, right? So basically, one of us would go into the gas station, and we would act like a customer. We would just go in there and distract the teller, distract the person working at the gas station, and then the other person would sneak in, because I don't know. I mean, I think they still have them, right? Those gas stations. They have that has a little store or the little place right in the middle, and on both sides is where the gas pumps are. And so, long story short, my friend would just, pull up to one of those gas tanks. Sorry, yeah, one of the gas pumps, pretending to put gas. And then one of my friends, and me would get off. All right. And I would be the one distracting, I'll be like the one buying, purchasing, distracting, whatever, the person. Because I would go, I mean, I look so old at a young age that I could go in there and buy cigarettes, buy lottery tickets, buy alcohol, buy whatever, right? So, anyways, I'm there, talking to the guy, doing the distracting. And then my friend, my other friend, remember, one of them was always in the go kart getaway car, and then my other friend would get off, and then he would sneak in through one of the doors, okay, and then just make his way to the back of the gas station and literally get a case of beer and then run out, and then just get a case of beer, run out, get on top of the go kart, okay, and then just disappear. And then they would leave me there. You know what I mean? Like, again, it was on purpose. It was all, we knew what we were doing. And so, I would act like, just surprised. I'm like, oh my God, did you see that? Oh my God, whatever. While the guy's running out of the store, like, oh, hold on a second. Like, hey, you kids, get over here with the gas. And then, by that time, my friend was already on the go kart, with the case of beer, and they were already like hightailing it out of there, and then, obviously, by the way, this is before cameras, before anything, obviously, I would, you know, get some candy, get some whatever, and then that's it. Make our way out of the store, and then I would just be like, I would make a purchase, so it wouldn't seem obvious, whatever, just some dumb whatever, and then that's it. I would just walk out and walk to where my friends were. You know what I mean? Like, in the hood, and that's it. And by the time I got there, my friends already had the beers on ice, or in the freezer or in the cooler or whatever. And that's it. And then we just drink the case of beer, free beer. And, these are the things that we would do in the late 80s, early 90s, early 90s, I would say by this point. And, yeah, it was just such a different time, such a different, life. And, obviously by the time, things like Halloween came along, there was even more people doing these beer runs. There was tons of kids out there, on mischief night, doing all kinds of things. And it was always just fun. It was always fun. In fact, I remember, like I said, as I was getting older, it's like, I don't want to get dressed up for Halloween. That's for little kids. I'm not going to do that. So it was all about mischief night or devil's night or whatever, whatever other names you had for it there. And that's what we would do. That was the fun of it. And then it wasn't up until, my early 20s, by the time I was a drinking age, I was already working and doing all that stuff. Then, again, Halloween would come around and we would just do the Halloween parties. You know what I mean? We'd go to the Halloween party, get drunk, depending on the age. When I was very young, we would go to the university because they had the University of Miami, FIU, whatever, right? All the universities that they had there, and we would go to the frat houses, all right, and then that's it. We just party, get drunk. That's the thing too. It's the University of Miami is like a prestigious school, but yet it's also a party school, and it's in the middle of Miami. But it's not like everybody could get into the University of Miami or the frats or anything like that. But at the same time, since it was Miami, anyone and everyone just kind of mingled and mixed in. So it was always fun because, again, I graduated in the top percent of my class. So I had tons of friends, that were going to the University of Miami. And, they were like the university where, again, it was just like what's the word? Like the Ivy League school of the region of the area. Even though, come on, it was freaking Miami. I mean, come on. If you guys know anything about football, don't get me started there. But anywho's, since it was, Miami, the University of Miami or what have you, a lot of times the only way that we could get to these parties or these events is because our friends had to bring us in. And again, it was always a lot more loosey goosey, to go to these parties and to go to the campus and to go to the frat houses and things like that back in the day. And so that's it. That's how we basically, we would just crash, these parties. And a lot of times, we were welcome to the parties because again, we're coming from the hood. That means that we were bringing the drugs and we're bringing the fun and we were bringing all the stuff that the nerds, at the school couldn't get, and things like that. So, and we would just go to university to university, having fun, FIU, would be back in the day, FIU was still bottom rung. But it was still, university. So, we would go out there and have fun and do all those things. Some of my other friends, that had a little bit more money, the car, or they had friends up north in North Florida, in Gainesville or Tallahassee. Man, they would go all the way up there. They would drive like 6-7 hours to go up there and party up there and things like that. But I never did that because I had to work. I had to, I had a life already at a very young age, and I was busting all that out. And then I would just go to the parties, my days off or after work or whatever it is. And that was it. You know what I mean? That was how we did it back in the day. So, all right, let me read a few comments there. DB Goodman says, hot take. Is Kanye doing his own version of an Andy Kaufman comedic performance art? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. You know what I mean? I think, he's, lost his rocker, a long time ago. Not to his fault, per se. But yeah, I mean, the guy is, he is a musical genius at the end of the day. Again, I don't know whether you guys like his music or not, but yes, I really do consider him, and a lot of people consider him a musical genius. And just like anyone that's that, they're pretty fucking nuts. You know what I mean? They are kind of insane. But yeah, there's no denying them that he is a musical genius. I mean, Kanye has more Grammys than the Beatles and the Rolling Stones, and like you can name like a bunch of groups combined. Okay, that guy has like gazillions of Grammys that he's won as a producer or as a creator, whatever it is. You know what I mean? When it comes to music, so he's out there. He's definitely out there. So I don't know what he's doing. Some people say he's doing a performance. Other people, think that he's just being himself and he's just kind of going nuts or what have you. So, but it is what it is. Shout out to him. I should dress up as Kanye one of these years. But it is, you would have to do that the blackface, I would say. I don't think blackface is okay. So I'm just doing white guy face, all right? How's that? So, but anyway, shout out to everyone out there. Hope you guys are enjoying your libations and enjoying your Halloween. So, by the way, guys, are you guys celebrating Halloween this year? Are you guys going to any Halloween parties? Or are you guys gonna go trick or treating? Are you guys gonna do any Halloween events? It is this weekend after all. It is tomorrow, Friday. Perfect. Best day for Halloween, Friday or Saturday. Again, we've been in celebrating since last weekend. So all week. And we're gonna continue celebrating tomorrow, then this weekend coming up. So shout out to everyone out there. Mm. Oh yeah. Nice ginger ale. Anyways, guys. So let's see. What else can we talk about here? Yeah, I don't even know what to Yeah, I don't even know what to say right now. I'm gonna hold on a second. Hold on. This is my brain right now is hold on, where's I can't see very well. My brain right now is, as is the audience. It seems like nobody's watching right now either. Nobody wants to see Anonymous. All right. 6'7". Anonymous Agent 6'7" here. So shout out to him, shout out to me, shout out to everyone out there. So mm, let's see. Let's see what we can find on the internets here. Um Anyways, let me put another song. Oh, I'll put the Marilyn Manson song. All right, we'll play that. Here, one second. I gotta. This ginger ale is running right through me. I gotta use the restroom. Okay, hold on. 1 second. Here, I'll play this. 1 second.
Officially running for president of the United States. And I don't want you, and I don't need you. Don't bother to resist, or I'll beat you. It's not your fault that you're always wrong. The weak ones are there to justify the strong. The beautiful people, it's all relative to the size of your steeple. You can't see the forest for the trees, and you can't smell your own crap on your knees. There's no time to discriminate. Love every single person that's in your way. Hey, you! What do you see? Something beautiful or something free? Hey, you! Are you trying to be mean? If you live with hate, man, it's hard to be clean.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I did have a shag ban, 100%.
The worms will live in every home.
Yeah, I mean, I actually remember.
It's hard to pick which one they hate the most.
Yeah, I actually remember. When I was, by the time I got to my driving age, I remember my dad. He wanted to get me like a Corvette or something like that. I think it was like a Trans Am. I don't know. He wanted to get me one of those cars, right? And I told my dad, by the way, he wanted to get that for me because it was like a neighbor in the neighborhood that was selling his and yada yada yada. And I was like telling my dad, man, I don't want that. You know what I mean? That's gonna bring too much heat. Again, remember what I was just telling you, what I was doing in my free time with my friends and all that stuff. So I was like, yeah, I don't want a Corvette Trans Am. That's just a cop magnet. That's a police magnet. Are you fucking kidding me right now, bro? You know what I mean? So I told my dad, actually, Dad, what I really want, I want mom's van. So can I just get mom's van? I mean, I basically drive it all the time. I use it anyway. Can I just get her van? Keep the money, save the money. Don't worry about it. It's totally fine. And I remember, he didn't understand it at first, but then he finally got it when he realized what the hell I wanted that van for. And again, it was number one, to keep a low profile. No cop was ever stopping me or even looking twice at me in my mom's van. But on top of that, again, I was always transporting all kinds of libations and doing all kinds of things. So to me, it was just like, yeah, no, 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 no. The van is it. You know what I mean? The van is super low profile. No one's coming after me. No one's even, again, batting an eye at me. But on top of that, the shag van, as you said, you know what I mean? We're in that age, and come on, you know what I mean? Have you tried, having sex, in a Corvette? Have you tried having any kind of intercourse or anything like that? Especially, by the way, I used to be bigger. I used to be fatter. All right, I used to be a big guy. All right, I'm small now compared to what I used to be, and Yeah, no way. I mean, I barely even fit in the freaking Corvette to begin with, let alone trying to, have some ching chong in there. So to me, I was just like, nah, no, I'll take the van, and especially the van that my mom had. It was one of those vans where you can move the seats and, have extra room and all this other stuff. And to me, I was like, yeah, no, I want the van. You know what I mean? And the van was great because I remember back in the day, I used to go in that van, when I would go on dates or what have you. And, again, it was awesome because you just go and just park the van in a dark, secluded spot. You know what I mean? And that's it. Go ham. Do whatever, have fun. In fact, what we used to do back in the day, this is way before, this is before 9/11. I mean, this goes to show you how old I am. One of the things I used to love to do with my dates is that we used to, so back in the day, the airport, again, the airport is right in the middle of the city. It was really close by. So, anyways, the airport had spots around the airport where people would park their car, and they would just park their car looking at the airport at the runway, and they got to see planes, taking off, and they got to see planes landing. And again, it's Miami International Airport. I mean, it was always, planes in and out. And so it was always great. You know what I mean? It was great, to just do for fun, just randomly, you go out there hanging out with your boys, hanging out with some friends, drinking, smoking, watching the planes, but it was even better if you were to take a date out there, you know what I'm saying? Because again, you would park, it was dark, no one would see anything, and you would be doing your thing in the back seat, having fun, and out of the front seat you could still see the planes, you could still see everything, and nobody could see you, but you could see out, and it was great. It was great. And so that used to be my spot. I used to always take chicks out there to the airport, to that spot by the airport and stuff like that. I swear, man, I remember after 9/11, and obviously, by the time 9/11 rolled around, I was already a little older and things like that, but still, early 20s. And I would remember the one time I had a date, and again, by that time I was already kind of doing regular dates and stuff, not high school dates, you know what I'm saying? And so, but again, whatever. I forgot the reasoning, for it, but long story short, I was like, hey, you want to go to the airport? You want to go da, da, da? I'm like, oh yeah, that was great. And I remember we went to the airport, and this is after 9/11, and they had closed that whole area off, for the public, and nobody ever again since that day, ever after 9/11, we could park there and watch the airplanes or smoke our weed or drink or whatever it is, and stuff like that, because after 9/11 it was like, oh no, we can't have, people have access to that spot, to that area right by the airport, because again, it was simpler times. Again, if anyone wanted to, all they had to do was get out of the car, all right, cross the street and just jump the fence, and they were on the tarmac. I mean, that's it. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it made sense, you know what I mean, for them to secure the area, especially right after 9/11. But I remember, man, that was one of the first things. I mean, there was many things that, again, after 9/11, when that happened, things were not the same ever again. But that was one of the things I remember that was like a big gut punch as to like, man, things are not ever going to be the same ever again. Now, I don't know if years later they opened that area again, because it was an area that a lot of people enjoyed, again, during the day, during the nighttime. During the day it was even more packed many times, because there was a lot of, airplane enthusiasts, and right, enthusiasts. There's a lot of airplane enthusiasts, and so a lot of people will go out there, and it was awesome. It was awesome. I mean, again, I look in LA. I remember, living when I was living in LA. This is, just years before I moved here to Mexico. And if you hang around LAX, Los Angeles International Airport, it was really cool because, again, if you're staying in a hotel or you're staying really close to the airport, man, many times, okay, you would see the airplanes just, they would come down so low as they were landing. You could see the airplane like right there. It's like, oh my God, I could almost touch the plane, and so that was LAX. So I'm guessing maybe they opened that area up in Miami again. I don't know. But yeah, for sure, you know what I mean? Like, a lot of things changed, after 9/11, but, I forgot what I was saying. I don't even know what I was going at with all that. Let me read some comments. Anyways, Big Al says, "So they announced today that the decorations this year are too scary for kids." That's the whole point, ain't it? Oh my! By the way, I don't that whole thing that I just read there, Big Al. Um, I don't think it's just in the USA because out here in Mexico as well, everyone, the Day of the Dead, Halloween, they celebrate that. They love it out here. But the same thing, I remember I saw like in Centro, downtown, they had a few stores. They had the Halloween decorations. Like I remember I saw that they put like a mannequin in a body bag, all right, and they were just hanging it from the front of the store and basically saying is like, this is what we do to shoplifters, and so, people love that kind of shit out here in Mexico, man. Come on. People laugh at death. That's why they laugh at the cartel, bro, for crying out loud. It's a different world out here. But anyways, and so, that's just like a typical normal everyday decoration, let alone a Halloween decoration, right? But yeah, there was a few Karens out there. There were a few people out there that were basically saying, "Oh my God, those decorations are too scary. Oh my God, we're gonna, we're gonna try to tell the store or force the store to get those decorations down because they're a little bit too graphic." And long story short, everybody was just laughing in their face, like, "Get the hell out of here." You know what I mean? If it's too graphic or too scary, stay home. You know what I mean? Like, what are you talking about? So, who knows, man? I think the whole world is just pussifying. The whole world is just softening up. Everyone's soft these days. It's not like back in the day when we were growing up. So, at least out here, they can just suggest or say, "Oh, it's scary. Can you take it down?" And then they'll tell you, "Yeah, no, get out of here. Get out of the store. You don't like it, cover your eyes." You know, so at least that's how it is in Mexico. I don't know how it is in the USA. They probably forced people in the USA to take down scary decorations. But I mean, whatever, man. DB Goodman says, if you're into vans, check out the documentary on Tubi called Van. I'm not really into vans. I'm not. I was into vans, back in my early 20s, but that's about it. All right, one second. Hold on, I got a gizmo. Gizmo out there barking at everybody today. That's right. More mobile party pad. Yeah, no, I mean the van was the best, bro. The van was because the van, I mean, like I said, it wasn't a typical van either. It was like those Lumina vans. I don't know if you guys remember those Lumina vans that were super ugly, you know. So I was literally a deterrent. I mean, dude, I remember back in my early 20s, man, I would, get off of work, go hang out with my friends. We would get drunk and we would be driving drunk home and get stopped by the cops multiple times. And, I'm wearing my chef uniform or I got my chef uniform in the van. They see I'm driving a van, I kind of give them the story, whatever. And they would always let me go. I never, ever, ever got in trouble in that freaking van. I mean, that's the thing, man. You know what I mean? A lot of people, they always wonder, oh, how come the police are always profiling me? It's like, bro, you're doing everything humanly possible for them to profile you. You know what I mean? Like, honestly, and I learned this again growing up in the hood. Like, honestly, you know what I mean? Like, that's the thing. And I mean, again, many times I would, I got close to getting caught or getting in trouble, getting whatever, just because I wasn't in my van or I was hanging out with my other friend and he was in his fancy car or whatever it is, or he looked a certain way or they looked a certain way. So sometimes it would be a little dicey, but I mean, all my friends, all of them got arrested, all of them were in trouble, all of them been through the system, and I never got arrested all the way up until 2017 when I was in the middle of Texas. All right, you guys know my story again. It's on the channel. You guys can check it out. Oh, by the way, real quick, last week, okay, I forgot who it was, but somebody suggested for me to have these videos, these live streams in Spanish. Now, when I do live streams, they don't get translated automatically in Spanish or any language. I don't know why. I guess the YouTube auto translation thing doesn't work with live streams. It only works with uploads. So I went on ahead and I uploaded last week's live stream, to see if it would auto translate. It has not auto translated yet. So that whole thing is still on hold. All right. I'm gonna see how, if it does get translated at some point or not. And if it does, then I'm gonna keep doing that, meaning I'm gonna keep re-uploading the live streams, all right? So that way people can see them or listen to them in other languages as well. So again, my apologies. Again, today we're just having fun. We're just here talking crap, no rhyme, no reason or anything like that. But usually on the channel, we like to go a little deeper on whatever the hell we're talking about. So, but anyways, let me see. But yeah, so I mean, well, I don't know. I forgot what I was saying. I was saying something about, oh yeah. So today, by the way, so I did the live streams a little earlier today because again, I got things to do. Like again, I got to go and get my costume for tomorrow. Me and Christian got to go shopping. I also got a football game today. The Miami Dolphins are going to get their ass kicked by the Ravens most likely tonight. So I'm there, got to watch them. Trying to see if we can get that last. I mean, sorry, so we can get the first pick in the draft or whatever, or at least one of the first picks in the draft. So I'm just hate watching right now, hoping that we lose and get creamed, but whatever. So, but again, getting the party started early. We've been partying, most of the week since last weekend, and we're going to be partying this weekend as we go through it. But what was I going to say? Yeah, so tonight, we're going to, as soon as she gets home, we're going to go and get our costumes, ready. There's a store not too far from here that sells used clothes or sells clothes or sells, it's kind of like a Goodwill, but someone owns it. It's things are done differently out here in Mexico. But anyways, so but I was walking by there the other day when I was walking Gizmo, and I saw that they were setting up, the store for the day, and I noticed that they were setting up a bunch of racks and a bunch of stuff, for Halloween. And so I got to peek real quick and to saw what they were selling. It's like, oh, okay, cool. They got a bunch of cheap, affordable Halloween stuff here, so we can come and make a costume out of it. And so me and Chris, so this costume that I made right here, I literally made this like a few hours ago, right before I went live. Same as Lambo, I just threw that together. Because normally by now would already have my costume, but it's just that Christian's been busy and she's working doing some restoration of some paintings and Centro and stuff like that. So, anyways, with that said, we're gonna get the costumes tonight, get all that ready, and then tomorrow we're gonna go out to the festivities. Again, if you want to know more about that, you can check out the live stream I did on the other channel, so you guys can see exactly what we're doing. But yeah, we're gonna get ready for the festivities and have fun and all that good stuff. Last week, we didn't have a Halloween party, but it was kind of like a Halloween party. I wish it was more of a Halloween party, but it was like an art thingy that they were doing. It just so happened that there were a lot of trick-or-treaters and all the kids were trick-or-treating last weekend because this weekend, tomorrow, everyone's going to be celebrating the Day of the Dead out here. So that's another thing too I love about Mexico, man. They really, really love Halloween, the Day of the Dead. They love these holidays out here and they really go all out. I mean, it's amazing. It's a great time. So, we're already starting to party early today. Like I said, we're watching football tonight. And then tomorrow, we're going to continue the festivities. We're going to go out to the parade and to, go drink with the rest of the town and on doing all that stuff. So good times ahead. But yeah, look, long story short, guys, and I mean, like as I was mentioning earlier, Halloween really, at least for me, it was something that I really enjoyed and I really celebrated as a young adult, young kid, as a young little kid, trick or treating all the way up until a young adult. But it wasn't up until, like I said, it was in my early mid 20s that at that point, again, we were just already too old for all this stuff. And so the only thing that we would do is that, like, like most people do these days, is that, there would be a Halloween company party type of thing. But since I always worked in the restaurant industry, there's no company parties, there's no time off and none of that stuff. So usually what we would do is that during Halloween, let's say that we're working, Halloween day, most of the staff, they would dress up and that's it. We would just be dressed up for Halloween during the shift during our day. But again, as a chef, as a cook, it was kind of hard to dress up. You know what I mean? And especially, having, you know, it was just hard. You know what I mean? So we never very, very rarely dressed up. And again, I was just living a completely different life. And it wasn't until I moved to Mexico. I mean, honestly, I was already starting to celebrate it again, because but before I moved to Mexico, I was already out of the industry for a while. So I would kind of celebrate it. I remember I celebrated it in Seattle and in LA with friends, but nothing too crazy. It was just like, hey, we're gonna get dressed up and go to Johnny's party. All right, whatever, that kind of thing. But now, you know what I mean? Out here in Mexico, oh my gosh, it is like it's a whole bash. It is like a whole event out here. So yeah, we're definitely getting ready for tomorrow. It's going to be a lot of fun. And again, I don't know what you guys are going to be doing, but hopefully you guys are also going to be having some fun tomorrow. Whether you're going to an adult themed Halloween party or you're going to do something with the kids or whatever it is you're going to do. I really hope you guys have some fun and enjoy yourselves and that's it. You know what I mean? Like I'm enjoying myself. So, with all that said, guys, well, I'm gonna have one drink in your honor. All right, a little ginger ale in your honor. Shout out to everyone out there. Happy Halloweenie. Hopefully happy Halloween's Eve. Happy Mischief Eve. Hopefully you guys don't get in too much trouble tonight, and that you guys can go out there and have some fun tomorrow or not. Whatever. To each their own, right? But anyways, guys, with all that being said, I think I'm gonna wrap this bad boy up. Seems like we're already at an hour, and I got a lot of things to do, and a lot of partying to do, a lot of fun to have. So you already know the deal, guys. If you like this kind of content, don't forget to. Well, you know what? Let's play some music on the way out of here. So let's see what songs do we have here. We already did Marilyn Manson. Let's do Down with the Sickness. All right, and that's it. So. Love you guys. Shout out to all you guys. I'll see you guys on the next one. See you guys here next week. Have a happy Halloweenie. I hope you have a happy weekend. Celebrate and enjoy yourselves. And I'll see you guys 6 or 7. See you guys next week. Love you guys. Peace out. Yes, I'm doing much better, guys. Yeah, I scratched up my finger, and I got all scratched and everything, but I'm fine. I'm doing great. I'm doing wonderful. Better than ever. So thanks for asking, Teresa. But I'm good. Yeah, sorry about that nasty open sore, that I showed in the last video. It was a Halloween theme, so I just left it in there. Happy Halloween, guys. Down with the sickness.
I can see inside you, the sickness is rising. Don't try to deny what you feel. Give it to me. It seems that all that was good has died and is decaying in me. Will you give it to me? It seems you're having some trouble in dealing with these changes, living with these changes. Oh, no, the world is a scary place now that you've woken up the demon in me. Get up, come on, get down with the sickness. Get up, come on, get down with the sickness. Get up, come on, get down with the sickness. Open up your hate and let it flow into me.
Smoke them if you got them.
You mother, get up, come on, get down with the sickness. You love it. Get up, come on, get down with the sickness. Madness is the gift that has been given to me. And when I dream, and when I dream, and when I dream, and when I dream. No, mommy, don't do it again. Don't do it again. I'll be a good boy. I'll be a good boy, I promise. No, mommy, don't leave me. Why did you have to do me like that, mommy? Don't do it. You hurt me.
We're gonna do it again. We're gonna do it
Why
again.
did you have to be such a pain? Why don't you just run off and lie? Why can't you just run off and lie? Why can't you just leave here and lie? Never stick your hand in my face again, mommy. Goodbye, I don't need this stuff. You stupid, sadistic, abusive, stinking woman. How would you like to see how it feels, mommy? Here it comes. Get ready to lie. Open up your hate and let it flow into
Love
me.
you guys. See you guys next week.
You mother. You lover.
Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to another live stream. Back to another live stream. Back
100 times?
to another live stream.
200 times?
Back.
500 times?
Probably.
Who is Jose Arteaga?
Jose Arteaga is a YouTube content creator with several channels focusing on different themes.
I can't do it. We'll do it live. We'll do it live. Thing sucks.
His main channels include travel vlogs and lifestyle content. On his travel channel, Jose Arteaga Travels.
You ain't got the answers, man. You ain't got the answers.
Additionally, he runs a cooking channel and engages in other personal projects that highlight his diverse interests and expertise. Projects and expertise. Projects and expertise. Projects, project, 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 project.